Good evening. John Scott here from Powered4.tv. Welcome to Added Time. And we've only got one person coming on with me, but it's well worth the wait. He's pulling in double shift tonight. All that and more. We're going to talk Champions League. We're going to talk about the poxy situation at my club, Tottenham, which I'm very annoyed about. And then we're also going to talk about the repercussions of the Super League. All that and more coming up after this. So here we are. Without further ado, let's bring him on. None other than the man himself from Stu's Wrestling Podcast that you can see on Powered4.tv. Here he is, the one and only, pulling in double shift tonight, my friend. You've just finished up Big Fight Weekly. So, I don't know what your battery level's at, but I'm hoping to gravitate towards your energy, Stu, because being a Spurs fan right now, mate, I tell you, I need it. I really, really need it. How you doing, buddy?
All good, mate. All good. Good to be back on. Talk a bit of footy, mate. I've missed it. I've missed not being on. So, yeah, absolutely. Pleasure to do the double shift this evening with you, Mr. Scott.
Absolutely. Well, I said at the top of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about the hunt down to the Champions League at the moment for, of course, the Premiership. That's what's hotting up. And obviously, Stu, I've got to say, the inconsistency of this league just continues. And obviously, it's going to come down, I would imagine, to the last day now, because no team seems to be able to get on a decent run. Even Man City slacked the other week, and see what happened there. And then Chelsea as well coming up right at the last. And I didn't see them doing half as well as they've now looked like they could potentially finish up. I mean, potentially they could be they could win the double this year, Stu, if you think about that, which is crazy when you think back to Lampard and how all that ended at the time. You know what I mean? So pretty unbelievable. But let's start with your club, Stu. Everton. Great result for you guys. I know a couple of weeks ago you dropped a couple of points. I'm sure you was thinking man, that's dead and buried. But you guys are still in it. What do you think of your chances at the moment? If you had to guess with the amount because you still got a game in hand, I believe, haven't you?
Yeah, we got to play Villa again. That was obviously with the COVID. We only played him last week, didn't we? And lost, which was we weren't very good. We weren't very good against Villa, John. So I'm a bit worried going to Villa Park, but also we're better away. We've got the third best away record in the league. It's crazy. And then the home form, I think we're about 15th or 16th in home form, John. But a good performance yesterday. Bit of backs to the wall. What I couldn't get over was West Ham had all that pressure. Had 60-odd% of the ball. Didn't have one shot on target yesterday. So, it's that Italian mindset defensively. And it worked for us yesterday. I was a bit worried when he brought Fabian Delph on. I thought this could be 2-1 West Ham. We go a bit too defensive, but it worked. It worked. Calvert-Lewin in the goals again. I'm sure, he's gonna be pushing Harry Kane. When the tournament's on for England. So yeah, I was happy. I wasn't expecting that yesterday. The way Moyes has had West Ham set up, they've been the surprise package, West Ham, for me, of all the clubs this year.
Yeah, they have, mate. I think they might have run out of a little bit of steam, if I'm honest. But that was always going to happen because that squad really is punching way above its weight. How David Moyes has managed to get so much as he has done out of that squad is unbelievable. Your ex-manager there. But let's just have a quick look at where the table lies currently, then as it stands right now, and of course, talking of West Ham, they're just dropping out now into that 5th spot. You got, I mean, pretty much down to yourselves there. You got Arsenal that have kind of crept in there a little bit, although I don't.
Sneaking in, mate, I tell you.
It would be a tough ask, I think, for both us and Arsenal. But you guys with the game in hand, Liverpool obviously are going to be in the running. They haven't got anything else to play for. So Champions League for them is like a must as well for these clubs. But Stu, I mean, potentially this could be your year, mate. I mean, this could happen. I don't know what happens. Do you know what happens now if, for instance, Chelsea or City, because they're in the Champions League? I'm guessing Man United, if they win the Europa, is there an extra spot given?
Eighth will get it, as far as I know, but it's that UEFA it's a UEFA Conference League, is it, or a knockout thing?
You don't want that.
So, but at the end of the day, the friendlies, if it is that we get in that, if it's Spurs or Everton that way, your friendlies, you're going to have to be putting out your under 23s, aren't you? Because your season's going to start. It's going to start early in July. But yeah, that'd be the poison chalice finishing 8th. I think.
Yeah, it doesn't appeal to me. I've got to be honest with you. That sort of thing. We'll dive into some of that later on the show. Obviously, West Bromwich Albion coming up short yesterday at Arsenal. Sam Allardyce not able to do his trickery like he always is, Stu. This is one, maybe a bit too many for even him on this. What did you... I mean, as far as their season goes, do you think that's it as well for Fulham? We're looking at the relegated teams, or do you think that there's a chance in it, cat and hell's chance of Fulham getting out of it?
Burnley only really need realistically another point, do you reckon, John? And then Fulham are going to have to win. Fulham are going to have to win every game. It's just if you'd have asked me 2 or 3 months ago, I think when we were on the show, I thought Fulham had the chance of getting out of it. I thought Scotty Parker, they were the ones that were going to do it, but they've fallen short. They've fallen short, John.
Yeah. Mark Lloyd, no luck for Big Sam this time round. Do you think he will remain at West Bromwich Albion and try and get them back up again, or will he wait out at the end of the season for the next SOBs down at the bottom? I mean, I don't know.
What's his release? How many millions he getting, John? If he goes, if they get rid of him and.
He's like what you call a troubleshooter manager, isn't he? You bring him in towards the end of the season. I mean, I don't know if he'll have the same appeal because this hasn't worked out. So I don't know if clubs will think, okay, we've got to get rid of our man because Big Sam's available. So that sort of dynamic that he had set up, which was quite cushy, might now fail because it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, give him credit. He's got every other club out of that situation. And to be honest with you, Sunderland at that time was diabolical. I mean, it was awful.
Absolutely, mate. It surprised me.
So, I don't know if his stock's gone down or not, but it's a cushy little job he had, because you can you go in there. If you keep them up, you can kind of decide at the end of it, do you know what? There's nothing here to build on. So I'll wait. I'll leave and wait for another club and just keep getting nice big bonuses. I'm sure there would have been a big bonus had he kept them up as well. I'm sure that's part of the incentive. But I mean, Big Sam, he was at your club for a little while. Stu, was you a Big Sam fan or not?
He got us 8th. The football was just typical Allardyce. Set up, frustrate the other team, get a win, get a draw. The problem I've got now. It's in terms of West Brom. Matthias Pereira won't be staying there. He's too good a player. Someone's going to come for him. He'll be playing in the Prem. Also, I like Sam Johnston, the keeper. If you look how many saves that lad's made. I know being in the bottom, do you know what? He's come back in. I'd heard he'd had mental health problems, Pickford, apparently. Right. They were wondering about, when he slipped in form. But yeah, I'd possibly go for Sam Johnston because I don't think Robin Olsen will be staying. But is he going to want to be a number 2? I'm just trying to think of other players from West Brom that will stay in the Prem.
There he is, Chris, who's just been on with you. Good shout out to him. How you doing, Chris? And well, he sums it up quite well there, doesn't he? Football was shite under the gravy bastard.
he hates him, and he got a beautiful payout off the back of it. That's the thing, John. If West Brom are going to be looking at their kitty. What's it? What does he get as a payout? They're going to need players. Yeah. I think stick with him in the Championship. I think that's the best thing they can do because you'll get him back.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's a hard one. I'm sure they've got that worked out because, I mean, the likelihood of him keeping them up was quite slim anyway. So, I've got a feeling they would have, looked at that at all angles. But, yeah, it's going to be an interesting run-in. If I had to guess at this point who I think will make the top 4 towards the end, because I did have a quick scan of the fixtures. And, I've got to say, you guys are in for a shout, but it does depend about other results. But the way other results have gone, a lot of those teams have still got to play each other. We've got Leicester at the end of the season away as well. So again, it's but it makes it, at least it's worth, it's competitive on the last day. I think that'll kind of like keep us all in tune with it and see what happens. But like you say, more places. I don't really want to go in that UEFA conference, if I'm totally honest. I'd rather sell it.
I don't know the inner workings of it, John, but it could be upset. It could screw your season up. Look at Wolves.
Do you remember the Intertoto Cup?
I do. I remember West Ham. I always attribute West Ham to the Intertoto Cup, and it was like they're playing games in like June, July, and you used to go on the old CFAX. I was on checking the scores.
And then you don't get in it after all that. You don't get in it, and it's just like, what the hell was the point? So yeah, not all good. Anyway, want to talk a little bit about my own club now. I said at the top of the show I was fuming with what's been going on. It's not been pleasant viewing, I have to say. And obviously, we still haven't decided on a manager. We have approached managers, but we've been left. Shamefully, you've got the guy from Germany. He's gone to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have played the old trick, mate. They know they get the best people from their own country every single time. It's the old Ferguson routine, mate. Absolutely. They've got such a nice situation there. So they've got him, and then the Spurs were then looking at the Ajax manager. I spoke to you off camera about it a little while ago, Stu. Well, he's just signed a new contract, so he ain't going. That's that one down.
Can I be honest, John? I don't think he would have been the man. I don't think he would have been the man for the job for you. It's all well and good doing it in Holland. I know he's had success in the Champions League, but the Premier League is a different beast. You've got to do it week in, week out. I don't think it was feasible. I think you've dodged the bullet. I think it's like a Villas Boas sort of scenario where he's come from another country.
Another one of them.
I think they've got to go with someone like Rafa. I think Benitez, but I don't think is he in the running.
Oh, he's in the everyone's in the running. Every day I wake up, mate, I tell you, there's somebody new. I've heard Graham Potter. I've heard from anywhere from Graham Potter to Rafa Benitez. I'm surprised Dyche hasn't been added to the list.
I've heard Scotty Parker, and I've heard a certain Tottenham fan. A certain Tottenham fan was posting about him the other day. He wants Scotty Parker.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Scott Parker's done very well. He's got a promoted club. I think there's something about him. I do honestly think there's something about him, but I don't think he's what we need currently. I think we need, like you said, with experience. Now, I'm not a massive Rafa fan, but I would take him. I would take him on a short-term deal. I would take him for 2 years, see what happens, evaluate after that, because we can go one or two ways at Tottenham right now. We can either get a young manager like Scott Parker or, go with Graham Potter, somebody who's not, as you'd say, well-established, a big reputation. But if you go with that, the likes of Harry Kane, Son, they're not going to be pulled in by that sort of manager, in my opinion. So that probably means it's going to be a real rebuilding part, like Pochettino did when he first came in. So that's like a 5-year plan. Or Levy can think, hang on, we've still got players like Son, Kane, or Dele Alli, all the rest of it. If I can just get a manager to get the best out of them for the next 2 years, we can maybe get something. Or we just have to completely rebuild. And I suppose we look back at this Tottenham team and think, it's a bit like the old England team when we used to say the golden age and they did nothing. I'm pretty much looking at Tottenham in the same vein. You know, we got to the Champions League final and we just haven't been able to get to that last bit. I know the Champions League final was like way out of there.
Amazing. It was amazing, though.
Yeah,
you know.
But let's have a quick look, Stu. Talking to managers, let's have a look what the odds are saying right now. Now Inzaghi, he's come up.
No,
a big one here. No. He's at Lazio now. Of course, the brother of the famous Inzaghi, the goal scoring machine of Juventus. But again, you know, he's won. I looked at his pedigree because I thought, well, what's this about him? Well, he's won 3 trophies in 5 seasons. Now, in Italy, against the Milan clubs and Juventus, I suppose that's not bad return. But again, I don't know his identity of football. Has he got something there that maybe swayed them? I'm not sure. Scott Parker, as you said, Stu, he's gone up now, second favourite. Graham Potter, I am surprised with this one. But who knows? Brendan Rodgers, still he's up there. But again, he's sort of huffing and ahhing here. He's pretty much ruled himself out at the beginning, but I don't know. I don't know.
He set the tone at Leicester. I mean, I'd be surprised, John. I'd be surprised, but it is Spurs. Spurs are a massive club. Whether he looks at it like that,
I don't know.
I think he's settled personally, but
we got Eddie Howe in there. He's come up.
No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work with Eddie Howe. No, not for a club the level of Spurs. That's not. No, I don't think.
Pochettino at 18-1 is crazy. I mean, that should be what 50, 100 to 1. I mean, whoever's doing that.
Do you think in hindsight he should still be there now? In your mind, Poch?
Well, it's a difficult one because I remember the time, and I was like, we weren't doing well. We got stuffed by Bayern Munich 7-2 in the Champions League.
I remember it.
And we were having a bad time. Yeah. I think Pochettino wanted to go. I think he felt like he went as far as he could. And I don't think he felt Levy was backing him enough. So I think Pochettino kind of was like, this is the end of it. We got to the Champions League final. Had it have worked out, I think we would have been sitting here today with Pochettino. But it didn't. I just think... I think personally it was the right time that he did go because he wanted to go himself. But at the same time, look where we are now. Jose Mourinho, let's speak a little bit about him just quickly, Stu. He's got the job at Roma. I mean, doesn't hang about. He got a TalkSport gig within a week over the Europeans. That's a bit more money for him. And now he's got Roma to go and do his magic.
Paddy Power. He's on the Paddy Power ads, mate. He's got it all going on, hasn't he? I think he needs to focus on Roma, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think, sorry to jump in.
Go on, mate.
I think Nuno Espirito Santo is a good shout. I think he's got a young team at Wolves. I think he plays exciting football that the Spurs fans like. You know, you've got the attacking players. I think he's a good shout at 14-1 for, I think... he's brought Wolves up as he took Wolves as far as he can. I know they haven't had Jimenez. We've spoken about that. I think Nuno would be a good shout, for you guys. He play attractive football. It'd be sexy football, as Ruud Gullit termed many years ago.
I mean, I'll tell you, after Jose's football, anything is looking sexy right now, Stu. I'm telling you. Yeah, we got Sarri in there. Sarri's been linked for a while as well. I'm not really. I don't think that'll go down well with Spurs fans.
He won't cut the mustard. He's tried it once. He's not for the Prem.
The other one that I did hear a lot about for a while is Antonio Conte, who's obviously just done the league with Inter Milan again. He's somebody. There is something about him, but he's very demanding. I think the players would have a big wake up call when he comes in because I know Jose's one thing, but I think Conte is even more demanding than him. So again, he's quite demanding. He's quite a authoritative figure. So I don't know if Daniel Levy would want to work with an Antonio Conte, to be honest with you. So we'd have to see about that one. And the only other one is, although he's not on this list, was Allegri. He was being linked for a little while as well, who, again, huge reputation as well,
That was the first name that came to my mind when Mourinho had gone. Allegri. I was thinking Allegri, I know it's obviously he's not in that list now, but he was one of the front runners early on.
Yeah. Absolutely. So at this point, obviously, there's no manager. We got Ryan Mason trying to do his best with Chris Powell. Bless them. There's only so much they can do. Like I keep saying, like with those two, they're not going to change it completely because they want jobs after this. They got to go back into their role, so they're not gonna come out with anything too crazy. I've got a feeling Gareth Bale is an interesting situation now. He basically said last time in the Euros for your guys, Wales, Stu, that he was just with us for getting back fitness for Wales for the Euros. So it was like, okay, so he's going back. Then all of a sudden Zidane's saying he ain't ever coming. He's not playing in my squad. So is Bale just going to go back to Spain and sit on the golf course for a year, just get big money? Or are Tottenham going to make some sort of offer? But I don't see Daniel Levy spending big at all. And I think they'd have to compromise on wage. They'd probably have to split it. And I've got to be honest with you. I don't know if Bale can cut it at the moment. He's had when he plays, he's sometimes there, sometimes he's not. But I think that would be very dependent on who the manager is. I think they need to sort that out first and then sort this Bale situation. But it is a bit of a mess. Stu, let me ask you, as an outsider, and I want to hear this from the man. I know you'll tell me it straight. Tell me it straight. I haven't got my whiskey with me, so I can't take a shot after. But
I can say what I want. Right.
You can say what you want.
I'll be honest.
Harry Kane. Is Harry Kane gone at the end of the season? If so, who's getting him?
I would say, Cavani's just signed a 1-year extension at United. I've always felt, I know he's been linked with United. It's a bit of a Shearer scenario, isn't it? He never went. This is how I attribute it now. Kane's going to want to win stuff. I think England have got a good chance to Euros, but I think domestically, I would see United as a good fit. But what about City? Aguero's going. Jesus isn't prolific. He gets goals.
Do you think that Haaland is number one, and if they don't get Haaland, Kane would be two? Do you think that's how they're looking at it at the moment?
Is Haaland going to be prolific in the Premiership? I know he scores a lot of goals in the Championship. Bundesliga, there's a big gulf in the Bundesliga.
Could be a Timo Werner all over again, couldn't it?
Do you know what? I'm seeing glimpses of Timo Werner. It's just the finishing.
The only difference is that Haaland seems to pull it out for Norway as well. And Norway aren't a great team, but he just smokes through everybody.
He's modern in his style, but he's like a throwback as well. He's that old-fashioned centre forward. But he's got modern in him, a modern style. But Kane would be my front runner because he's done it year on year. The only thing with Harry Kane, he'd be closer to Shearer's record of 260. Just injuries. He's been plagued by injuries, but a lot of the top strikers have, John. Aguero, I think Harry Kane is fantastic. I love him. He caused havoc the other week against us, John. He was brilliant.
We'll have to see. And then again, it will always depend on the value of the player, what Levy thinks his value is, what another club thinks it's going to be. I'm sure we're talking well into 100 million. I'm sure, even at the age of 28. But
easy.
They with Harry Kane, he can do it in the Premier League. That's the only difference. But he wouldn't have as longer run. Although saying that, he's turning into almost like a provider. This season he's got so many assists. So he's got a bit more than just a striker that needs to score goals. He can add more to you. So, well, it could be the end of my happiness. Let's put it that way for a little while. We'll have to find someone. I did have a source tell me about even Tony from Brentford being a target for Spurs. He's
been scoring goals.
Talking of transfers, Stu, I was quite surprised about Tammy Abraham being possibly shipped out because they were looking at getting Lukaku back. Would you take Tammy Abraham with Calvert-Lewin? Imagine him two up front.
I think the guy can do it. He scored goals. I know he went to Villa on loan, didn't he? Banged a load of goals in the Championship. I think playing week in, week out, he can score goals. Tammy Abraham, I think he's a good shout. He knows the Prem. It's just he doesn't get consistent games, does he, at the moment? But they're going with Havertz and Werner. Havertz is floating
Crazy.
into.
I read a report that Chelsea would accept a 40 million. I thought it was quite cheap. That's quite reasonable for someone like him. So
for his age, John, for his age, and he's English. That's not
be
bad.
Happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Stu, I think it's time now for a quick break. When we come back, though, we're going to be talking about the Champions League final and then the whole shenanigans of the aftermath of the wonderful Super League that lasted no more than 48 hours, although we are still hearing about it continually through one main pundit as well, Mr. Gary Neville. He certainly likes to shout him out as much as he can, but I kind of agree with him in a lot of the stuff. So we'll talk about that and more. Don't forget, keep your comments coming in. We'll read them straight after this break. We'll be back after this one.
Jockeying for position. Neither man wants to give an inch, but something's got to give at some point.
Up and over goes Pat.
There you go, the wonderful TNT Extreme Wrestling, available exclusively on powered4.tv. Go over there now, sign up, you'll see that, as well as another 25 promotions as well. We are considered the Netflix of wrestling. It's all under one package, one price, the whole lot. You haven't got to buy them individually. Go over, check that out right now. Stu, let's go through some comments whilst we got them coming in. We can see what's going on. I've got a few here I can see for the old Spurs. We got Carnage Payne. Arsenal and Spurs going after same pool of managers. Cavani reportedly signed. Yes, he has, as Stu confirmed earlier. Yeah, I mean, we haven't spoke about Arsenal, Stu, but our North London rivals seem like a little bit of bother as well. They got knocked out of the Europa Cup. We could possibly both be going for the same kind of managers, but I heard as well that Gronky might be willing to sell, so I think that's made them a little bit happy. What do you think? Are they going to stick with Arteta, or is he his days numbered?
I'd stick with Arteta. It's a young team. Yeah. Look at Saka. Look at Smith Rowe. Aubameyang. There's been some bits of falling out and stuff like that. Why did Lacazette not start that European game? Why did he not start?
I know, they looked flat that night, didn't they?
Silly. It's the behind the scenes stuff, as you're saying about Kroenke. Is Daniel Ek going to come in and take it, which it possibly could happen. But I would stick with Arteta. I think it's only been, how long? 18 months.
Yeah,
stick with Arteta. He's still in his infancy there.
Here he is, the man himself, Brett Thomas. He's pulling double shifts as well, just like you, Stu. Jeff from London's Burning works at Tottenham and said to me on the bus the other day, he thinks they should get back Pochettino. Well, I would take him back if he wanted to come back, Brett, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I don't see it happening. He's at Paris Saint-Germain. I know they got knocked out and everyone was saying they looked a bit spineless and flat, but I think he's got a bigger project going on there. He's come in halfway through as well, don't forget. So I got a feeling that I believe Neymar just signed a new deal as well.
Yeah.
So the kind of money they've got, I wouldn't be surprised if they even have a good butchers at Harry Kane as well. That's another fault that's just gone through my head right there, to be honest with you. Brett Thomas as well, 2 shows tonight. Cole, yes, very much so. We are there. Carnage paid. Hi, busy night, Stu.
Yeah,
certainly is for
absolutely.
Mr. Stu Palmer. his batteries are running flatter as we go
Get the energizers in.
Just wanted to also say, Powerful do very well. Been watching since Mania week. You did. Thank you very much, Carnage Payne. Very thankful for everybody we've had a lot of people stay on since our WrestleMania week. Of course, we did a crazy amount of shows, and it's great that you guys are all here. Of course, there's Lewis, who maybe missed to put something in, but we know what he was going to say. He's going to say hi. He always does. Lewis is always on my shows. Brett Thomas again. John, hope you're okay. Looking forward to Powered 4 SP3. Thank you very much. Excellent stuff. And here we go. There's Lewis. That was awesome comeback for Man United. It certainly was. Here's a good one.
Paulie!
County to the Premier League in 10 years on Football Manager 2020. Yeah, you should. I'll probably take you over what's coming. I mean, the amount of people, you might as well go for it. I think you and I, Stu, have got a chance. We could get an interview, me and you, in front of Daniel Levy.
Paul was United season ticket holder for years. I went to a game in 2018. I was in the home end. Right. It was Everton Man United. Nearly got my head kicked in outside the ground, John. Paul had to save me. I'd had a few too many beers, and United nearly got me head caved in outside Old Trafford. Believe it or not.
Well done, Paul. Okay, so let's talk about this then. We're going to have we have had a preview of it last weekend, which was of course Chelsea and of course Manchester City that will now go to the Champions League final. A little bit of debate going on currently about where the venue will take place. Certainly doesn't make too much sense to send people to where was it? Istanbul, was it? Is that where the
where the 2005 final was?
Right.
I'm assuming.
They're talking about Wembley, I think.
Well, they can do it with they can do it with a percentage now. They've done the test events, so
it makes sense.
Easier, less. They don't need to be travelling as far, do they? And stuff like that, John.
I remember them doing something stupid in Baku when Arsenal played Chelsea there as well. I mean, that seemed ridiculous as well. I know that I know they plan these things out ahead of time, but maybe they should kind of reconsider, given what sort of pandemic world we're living in now. Maybe we should do this maybe a couple of months before and just see who's actually involved, like what countries are going to be fans wanting to travel and all the rest of it, and try and get the best possible place, because it does seem stupid 2 English clubs going all that way. What fan at the moment can really seriously travel, and you've got to take everything into account. It'd be a nightmare, to be honest with you. So I hope that that gets resolved, to be quite honest with you. Paul just saying, true story. There you go. He's backing up. I didn't disbelieve him.
Honestly, and every time Pickford made a save, I don't want to make it about 2018. I'm all excited. They knew. Those fans sat there. He was meant to sit with me. I needed a bloody minder that day. But yeah, too many beers and nearly got me head caved in. But hey, John, live to fight another day. More lives than a cat.
Good, my friend.
More lives than a cat.
I've sat in the West Ham ground before watching Tottenham, and that was an experience, I'll tell you.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Who's your money on at the moment, Stu? Because obviously Chelsea have come up trumps last weekend, and got to take him a little bit more serious now. It'd be incredible, wouldn't it? As I said earlier, if Chelsea were to come out of this season with, Thomas Tuchel, who left Paris Saint-Germain, by the way, taking up Chelsea. I have to say, I did not see this being a potential. But on the day, I think Chelsea could give him more of a game than Tottenham could, and could win the game. I mean, it's there. He's got the one up already, playing away. So what's to say they can't do it? And who's your money on, Stu? Are you still going with City? Because City are desperate for this. They're more desperate for this than the Premier League. I think they'd hand that to Man United if you could say they get the Champions League this season. But
Tuchel, he's made me look silly because I said when he first came in, I said that on this show. I said that on this show. I got it so wrong. He's not going to cut it. He was at Dortmund, wasn't he? And then, did his stint at Paris Saint-Germain. He's made a believer out of me. I've been very impressed by him. I'll eat my hat. Maybe not live on air. But I think City threw it away with that silly penalty the other day. But I think if it was any closer with United, they would have won that game. I think they know they've got that little bit of leeway. But I do think City will come through. Perhaps elite in the big competitions. He's known for it. So I see City taking it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I've got a sneaky feeling Chelsea might sneak it, and City will have to go another year still trying to get that Champions League. I know this is Pep's main journey. I think I've got to say Pep Guardiola. A lot of people wrote him off as well, and obviously he wants to stick around, but his destiny has to be to get that Champions League, Stu, regardless. When you look back on Pep Guardiola, I know he didn't do it at Bayern Munich, come close, but he didn't do it with Bayern. But, Barcelona history, Manchester City brought him in because he was the Champions League guy. That is the one they want. I think but I don't see him being like a Mourinho type guy where he wants to kind of fulfill all these different leagues. I could be wrong. Maybe he has got that sort of ambition to try and conquer other leagues. But I just got a feeling, why would you leave Manchester City that kind of build everything around the manager by the sounds of it? I mean, everything is done around him. So I don't know if there'd be anything better. He's got Phil Foden coming up. I mean, do you know what I mean? He's definitely got the next crop.
Everyone
Ruben Diaz, mate, I tell you.
Everyone you speak to is raving about Foden now. Everyone can see it. He's got to be on that team sheet in that first 11 for England. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on it. I think it's the ability that City have where they can bring players in. Though I was impressed with Zinchenko last week in the Champions League. I thought he had a good game. I know he likes to rotate, but I think City will do it. But I think Pep set the precedent for how we all play attacking football. You know what I mean? Everyone cottoned onto it in the end and caught up. But I think it'll be City. I really do. I think they'll do it. I think they'll realise they made a mistake on the weekend there. And they'll be ruthless. But Chelsea been good under Tuchel.
This season as well. You never know. No,
that's it.
Indeed. Now, moving on, Stu, of course, finishing up on this one for this week. Got to talk a little bit about the aftermath and still potentially more troubles to come now if we're led to believe in the Real Madrid president. He loves to come out and tell us all, they can't get out of it just like that. But interesting point here, just reading one of our comments that come in earlier. I'm just going to put this one up now. This is from Rambo. So-called top six only got fined money, 15 million each, which ain't a lot. Many pundits say you can't take points off them as it ain't fair on fans, players. What about the lower league clubs when they go into admin? Joke. And that is a good point. I mean, those clubs, lower league clubs, they don't earn them with money there. They do put points down and you have to go in at minus 12 or whatever. So it is. Yeah, there's something about that. And also, I wonder where that money's going with UEFA. What are they doing with it when they pick up these 15 millions from these clubs? Are they going to put that down to grassroots and all the rest of it? Or is that going into another crazy Champions League project, where we got more clubs? So, as I always said, there's corruption in football at all levels. The Super Six is one of them, but, you only got to go back to FIFA. We all remember that with the whole World Cup shenanigans and all those kind of things that went along with it. So, Stu, at the moment, like people, obviously the Arsenal fans in particular, Manchester United, and probably Liverpool to a degree, that certainly the American owners are getting a lot of flack from their fans to basically sell and get out. A lot of damage has been done with a decision that was, come out of nowhere. 2 days worth it lasted. What are the repercussions now for after the Super League? Like, where does everything go? And are you in agreement that the government needs to take further input here and kind of get something written up so that this sort of thing can't happen? Because as it stands, don't forget they announced this to us. Now they could have just gone away and done this off their own accord, because there's nothing in the rule book as it stands to stop that from happening. So these owners, they don't always care about the fans, because these American ones especially, I don't know how much they go to the ground and watch a game and all the rest of it. Probably not a lot. They're just looking at the bottom line at the end of the day. They're looking for more money, more money. Stu, what has to happen here? And how serious could it be that this isn't the end of it? Certainly Perez certainly thinks so.
I think at the end of the day, the 14 clubs said, didn't they, the owners should stand down. And also, there should be a points deduction. 15 million per club. It's nothing.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
I can't believe that. I didn't know until that came in. But they've got to make an example of them. I look forward to the big games. We said about this on April 19th when we did the impromptu live. I look forward to playing all the teams, in the alleged top 6. And I just can't believe it nearly happened. It's crazy. It's crazy, mate.
Like I say, they did this with an announcement. So, who's to say they can just go away and do it? I think Gary Neville's got the right idea. The government does need to come in, step in and get something where we can kind of take control of our own clubs. We don't want it to become a franchise and all the rest of it. I know you and I, a couple of weeks ago, Stu, we spoke all about this and what potential havoc that could cause on competition levels worth of football. The other thing about it as well, Stu, got to take a look at the Champions League as well. I know I mentioned to you last time about the new rules, extra clubs going in. Again, more games, 2 leagues now. Another crazy thing. I think it's going to be, they're trying to go for 2 leagues, like 2 sets of, I think it's 10 on each or whatever to a certain point, and then it just seems like another mess, to be honest with you. I don't know if you remember, and I don't know if the European Championships are like this year, but do you remember when Portugal won it? And I think they finished 3rd in their group. But that particular year, the top 3 could go through instead of the top 2. And again, it's like
there was more clubs, wasn't there? International, in the tournament.
Yeah, and I don't know if I agree with that, because I just think, only one goes out and you've got to play those games. How competitively were those bigger nations playing them when you know that actually we only need a certain amount? So if you've got some, poor sod country in there, it's basically, we'll just knock them down, but don't worry about everyone else because we're all going to be there anyway. I don't know. I kind of look back to the old European method. I remember it was 1 game, no legs. And you was out. Of course, now in modern day football, imagine telling UEFA that they'd never go for something like that, because there's no money in just 1 leg and all the rest of it. You can't get. Yeah. But that was the real times. And I made the reference before, Stu. I know that Louis van Gaal said it well, and he said, the champions it isn't the Champions League because there's another 3 teams from most of these leagues. So I know we got this conference thing coming up as well. I don't know too much about that, but that doesn't appeal to me much either. If Everton were in that next season, Stu, would you be travelling down to Everton and watching those games, or would that be a switch off for you? And
is it bad?
I don't know what calibre of teams you're going to get.
That's it. As bad as it sounds, I love going to Goodison. I love going the match, but I don't know if it appeals personally to me. Yeah. Chris makes a valid point as well. Chelsea for me. I was going to say Sheffield Wednesday would have stayed up. They had the 6-point deduction. They had a 6-point deduction, so Derby ended up staying up, didn't they, on the final day? Rooney got them out of it. But yeah, I think what's going to happen? What's going to happen with it? Are they going to deduct the points? I don't think anyone's got the bollocks to
I don't
do
think
it.
they will. I don't. That's exactly that. They're not going to upset because I think for the ownerships. I mean, I'm disappointed in Tottenham. Chelsea's a weird one as well. Like Man City, why on earth do they need extra money? I don't know. Like, again, they don't come out of this looking too rosy either. I got a feeling with Chelsea and Tottenham, it was more of a thing about, well, if we don't sign up, we're going to get left behind, and that's going to. But I don't know. I look at some of these German clubs, mate, and they didn't put their name to it, and neither. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you got to give kudos to Bayern Munich and Dortmund in a way, because they weren't involved up until we know. So, yeah, certainly, rings more true for those. But yeah, I'm kind of glad that it's died down. I'm glad that the fans stepped up. However, these owners, mate, when they want something, like these money people, they're used to getting their own way. So it just makes me feel like maybe this isn't the end of it, especially. But what are they going to do? Are they going to do it without the English clubs? Because if they do that, who they got? Seriously.
What's the point?
You can't keep watching the Copa del Rey every week. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just makes it less, doesn't it? Really, when you get those games. So yeah,
just goes to show the strength of this. The English English league.
Yeah.
Look at how many teams are in the Europa League semis, and look who's in the finals now for both tournaments.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you very much, Stu, for pulling in double shift this week. It's been a blast.
Problem.
I've had to go through my sort of felt like a counselling session for me, being a Spurs fan. Yeah, talking to you, Stu. My energy levels have gone up a little bit more. I don't know. Yours are probably about here now after the 2 shows, but I'm feeling maybe a little bit more positive. I hope that we get the right manager. Let's put it that way. I want to be. What? I don't know how much time it's going to take, but just get the right one. It's imperative, I think.
Why is Eric Dyer still playing centre back? That's what we were asking before.
There's good news, Stu. There's good news. I heard a rumour that Jose Mourinho wants to take him to Roma. I'll fly him over there. I will get him there myself.
You watch all the games. I only watch highlights if they're not playing Everton. I do try and watch all the clubs. But what is it with Dyer at centre back? I just never.
But Jose's always liked him. Always liked him. Lamella as well has been linked to a move back to Roma. I'll take that as well. I think he's been a bit of deadwood for a while. But sometimes these English players, they go abroad and all of a sudden they like throw it on. I know Chris Smalling, for instance, had a good
Ashley Young
time. Do you ever remember? He's not English, but do you ever remember one of our weakest defenders ever, Fazio?
I do remember.
He ended up going back, and he was knocking him in left, right, and centre from centre back. I couldn't believe it.
It was the Romanian. It was the Romanian lad you had at centre back, and he went.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Lucky.
It's gone. It's gone on it. What was his name?
Oh my goodness. There's going to be someone in the. Chris will know. Chris will look this up. We got him in. We got him with bow money. I remember that much, and we barely saw him in all that. But yeah, is it Kirikash? Is it Kirikash?
Kirikash. I think it was.
His name. I think it was him.
Chris says get Mike Bassett in, John. 4-4 F2.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll go with that.
We're better than the
I'll go with that. But no, thank you very much, Stu, for coming on. Chris has just confirmed. There he is, Kirikash.
Kirikash, brilliant. You did well there, John. You did well there. You got it.
Well, I was under pressure, Stu, but I managed to come through. But no, thank you as always, Mr. Palmer, for coming on, taking your time out, especially for both shows. Guys, if you missed tonight's earlier show of Big Fight Weekly, go and check that out now. That is available on our Facebook and YouTube page. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us if you want to see this and more. I'll be back next with Powered for SP3 on Wednesday, where we'll be talking all things wrestling. Stu, where can we find you, my friend, and what have you got coming up? I know you've had a pretty decent couple of interviews coming in, so just let everybody know about them, my friend.
Stu's Wrestling Podcast, Instagram, Twitter, you'll find us, Facebook as well, the group in there, the page. Just had, I actually did the interview in March. It's been on the back burner. Vic Devine, who was in OVW years ago with CM Punk. He's a Macho Man impersonator, Macho Man.
Yep.
Fantastic. He's just, it's unreal. It's unreal. But yeah, he was in pro wrestling for a long time. Also, Brett Azar, who is Iron Sheik in NBC's Young Rock. I've watched the whole series. Fantastic, brilliant. And he's been in some big movies. He's been in the Terminator films in more recent years. So yeah, that's what's coming up. That's what's out. So yeah, it's been busy, John.
Cool. No, thank you very much, Stu. Go and check out Stu's Wrestling Podcast, available on all podcast platforms where you can find it. There it is. There's a t-shirt. I should have worn the t-shirt for you. I did
know, mate.
the other day,
I know,
Stu.
mate. You do wear it a lot.
I let you wear it a lot. I let you down tonight.
You're all right. You're all right.
But yeah, thank you as always. Hopefully next time I'm on here, I'll be back with a booming smile. Tottenham may have got the right man, or maybe I'll be really sad because they appoint Sarri or something, and all hell will break loose.
Who'd be a football fan, John? Who'd be a football fan?
I'll tell you.
Feel your pain, mate.
In saying that, the fact that some fans are going back now does certainly bring a smile to my face. I can't wait to get back in there, to be honest with you, providing everything's good. But no, thank you as always. Thank you for everyone that's been watching. We'll see you next week, folks. Take care.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to enjoy Jesse Survive.